Who was Amelia Earhart? Chapter 1, Young Amelia. Amelia Earhart was born in her grandmother's house in Atchison, Kansas, on July 24th, 1897. The house was high on a hill. It had 11 rooms. Maids and cooks worked there. Dinner was served on fine china. Amelia's mother's parents had a lot of money, but Amelia's father had trouble keeping a job. Edwin Earhart could barely make the payments on the family house in Kansas City. There was always money worries. But Amelia loved her parents, especially her handsome, funny father. When Amelia was 7, her father had enough money to take the family to see the World's Fair in St. Louis, Missouri. 20 million people came to the 1904 World's Fair. 45 countries set up exhibits. The World's Fair. The World's Fair have been popular events throughout the history of the United States. In 1876, a centennial exposition was held in Philadelphia. It marked the 100th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. 10 years in the making, this World's Fair introduced people to many new things. One of the most popular exhibits showed a new machine called the typewriter. In 1893, a fair called the World's Columbian Exposition was held in Chicago. It was a grand event. One area at this fair was called the Midway Plaisance. The Midway featured popular entertainment. Here, the first Ferris wheel was introduced. It stood 260 feet tall and had 36 cars. It could hold more than 2,000 people when full. Building the World of Tomorrow was the motto of the World's Fair held in New York City in 1939. A popular exhibit at this fair was the Futurama. Visitors sat in moving chairs to glimpse the city of the future. Modern buildings and huge highway systems wowed people of all ages. Another exhibit also got a lot of attention. Here people stared at new inventions called the television. Many wondered what good this might be in the future, and anybody who's watching TV between this would know. At the St. Louis Fair, there was an Eskimo village, a Japanese garden. Each nation and state showed something about its own culture. Amelia and her younger sister, Muriel, saw a big roller coaster at the fair. When she got back to Kansas City, Amelia tried to build one in her yard. Muriel, Amelia's uncle, and another friend helped. Wooden tracks ran from the top of the shed to the yard below. A little buggy rolled down the tracks. The tracks were greased with fat to make the buggy go fast. Always the bravest kid on the block, Amelia was the first to try out the roller coaster. She dragged the buggy to the top of the tracks and got on. Her sister held fast. When Amelia gave the signal, Muriel let go. Amelia went down head first and crashed. Did this stop Amelia? Not at all. She and her friends made the slope of the tracks less steep. Then she got on the buggy again. This time, she made a good run. She loved the speed, and it was almost as if she was flying through the air. On a cold day in December, Amelia went sledding with her sister. Amelia wanted to go very fast. She took a running start, then she jumped on the sled, lying head first on her stomach. The hill was icy. Amelia was gaining speed. Suddenly, there was trouble below. A horse-drawn wagon came out from the side street. It was directly in Amelia's path, and Amelia couldn't stop. At the last second, Amelia ducked. She and her sled slid right under the horse. A moment later, Amelia was up and smiling. Her quick thinking had helped her avoid a bad accident. In the summer before eighth grade, Amelia went to another fair, the Iowa State Fair. Here, Amelia saw her first airplane. And here's a little note on the airplane again. Orville and Wilbur Wright. Orville and Wilbur Wright never went to college, but they were good at building things. On December 17th, 1903, in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, they made history. That was the day their airplane, the Wright Flyer, went 100 feet in the air. The Flyer was a rickety plane by today's standards. Its body was made of cloth stretched over a wood frame. It had one small engine and two propellers. Many thought it would crash on takeoff, but it didn't. The Flyer stayed in the air for 12 seconds. A short trip indeed, but this first flight changed history forever. In 1909, only 6 years after Wilbur and Orville Wright had made their famous flight at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. This is when she saw her first plane. Surprisingly, Amelia did not think too much of the airplane. She was always adventurous, but her love of flying came much later. Amelia's teenage years were hard. Her father couldn't keep a job, and the family split up. Amelia's mother took the girls to Chicago. They lived in a rooming house, and Amelia went to Hyde Park High School. Amelia was a good student. She dreamed of going to a first-rate college, but there wasn't enough money. However, Amelia's mother was able to send her to a good private school for girls. It was time for Amelia to start out on her own.